Hi everyone, it's Lillian here of Stamper's Niche. I'm so glad you could join me tonight. I'm coming to you from Alberta, Canada, and I have lots of good things to share with you tonight, so I'm glad you're here. Just while we're waiting for a few people to join, we were on our morning walk this morning and it was a little bit cooler, which we're very thankful for. We've had this heat wave, and the comment was just a little bit of a feeling of fall in the air. In fact, there were even some leaves on the ground. So I know we've got some more of summer left yet, but there was that fall, the hint of fall in the air. And so we know that it's coming. And when I got up this morning, it was still a bit dark, which it hasn't been for a while. So the changes are happening. And those of you who live in Australia, I know that you're looking forward to spring and summer coming. So it's just a different season no matter where you are. So let's hop down onto my desk and see what I have in store tonight, okay? So let's flip down. I seem to be all butterfingers today, and I know I am quite often, but we had our daughter's 40th birthday this weekend, and so we had the kids so her husband could spoil her, and then afterwards, of course, we had a family dinner or celebration, so it just seemed like a busy time all around. So I see Roz saying hi, Diana saying hi. Hi, everyone. So glad you're here. So I'm just getting this shared over into my Facebook group. So if for those of you who haven't joined my group, that's a good thing to join because I share a few more things over there than I do here. So let's just get talking a little bit. First things first. Ta-da! Registration open today for Stampin' Staycation, and I know that some of you on here are already registered. So it happens September 11th, but if you're busy that day, it doesn't matter because it's all online. You can take part whenever and however you want. Hi, Sue. So glad you're here too. So I see hearts coming up for Stampin' Staycation. I will again put the link. I've shared it this morning. So register as soon as you can because there will be things happening where on the Stampin' Staycation private Facebook group ahead of time. So you'll want to be there for that. So you'll want that to happen. Just in case you like to take a screenshot, there is the link, but again, it was posted this morning and I will post it again afterwards. So there you go there. So there it is. You will find the information there and then the link to the registration. So it's going to be fun. We've got the projects planned already. So just wanted to let you know about that. Now, one of the things that I like to do with my downline is have something that we call challenges. So the purpose of the challenge is just for those who want to take part, they share what they come up with for a challenge. And last week, I challenged my downline to come up with take a stamp set and come up and make a card for two separate occasions. And already they're sharing that. It's so much fun. And so I thought that would be fun to do tonight. And I'm going to look at the bundle that's in the mini catalog called Sparkle of the Season. And it's on page 58. So this is a wonderful bundle that can really cover a multitude of occasions. There are all these stamps in it. So you've got Christmas, Halloween, grateful, and thankful for you, some generic stuff. And then you've got stamps that cover all different kinds of seasons as well. And then the dies. And so just do remember also that when it gives you the page for the dies, it is kind of helpful if you flip over to that page. So here it is here because you see another sample here, and I've shown you that one before, but there are more samples here. And if you're like me and you use your catalogs for a sample and for ideas as well as to look at the bundles, That's good. It's excellent. Now, the other thing to notice is that the price for the bundle is $62. Celebration is happening right now. Every time you spend $60, you get something free. This is 62, so automatically you would get a free celebration item. You will see me use one, at least one, in the presentation tonight. So let's take a closer look at this bundle. Here is the stamp set, and it is photopolymer. So it's like that. It's the see-through ones, if you don't know what photopolymer is. And then there are the dies, and what I did was I cut all the dies so you could see them a little bit better here. That one got bent up, so it's making a shadow. So I love these, and well, I love everything. So you've got the shapes, and I'll show you how some people have made cards using just this shape, or you can stamp and then cut it out too. And then we've got this like that, leaves and pumpkins and bats and broomsticks and little things that could be holly berries if you wanted, and all different kinds of things. So that's what we're going to use tonight. And the card that I'm going to case, I cased this card from another demonstrator. Stampin' Up! Demonstrators are so generous in sharing their ideas. I made a couple of changes, but basically the card was inspired by Amy, now I don't know how to say her name, Coenders? Something like that. So she's where I got the idea for this card from, and I will make a few changes, but I want to give her the credit here. So what am I going to use? I am going to use gray granite. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So let's take that off and fold on the scored line. I always like to still match up the edges because sometimes they go a little bit wonky. There, we've got the card front already done. And then we've got a piece of basic white that is 5.5 by 3.5, and another piece of gray granite that is 5.5 by 3 5/8. So that's going to go like that and just have a little tiny border there. So if you wanted it bigger, you could make it a little bit bigger, wider if you wanted. But I wanted, or you could make this a little bit smaller. That you could go either way. So there's that. And then you could either cut a piece of designer paper that is the size of the card front, which I don't do very often because I'm not great at lining them up. But Roz, it's Kenders. Oh, thank you. I've often wondered how to say her name. Thank you. So the designer paper is going to be the same size as here, or it's hidden, right? I decided to just go with a couple of strips. So you could either make your designer paper 5.5, whoops, got the wrong one, by 4 1/4, or you could do 2 at 5.5 by 3/4, and they're going to go on here. So where did I get this brick designer paper? It is from the In Good Taste designer paper. So the In Good Taste is one of those mega packs that has like 48 sheets, and it has all of these wonderful tactile types of things in it. So the paper I am using here is this paper right here. So that's the back side like that. So that's where I've got that from. And then I've got some scraps that I'm going to use, but we're going to get started here. So first off, I'm going to bring in my mat here. First off, these 2 strips of designer paper are going to get put on the 2 very edges. So let's put some adhesive on the back. There we go. There, now you're seeing the back of the paper. Now one of these is just a little bit narrower. I just happen to have the scrap and it's going to be big enough, but I would make mine 3/4 of an inch if I was cutting it. There we go. So I'm going to put this, and I'm going to open that up. There we go. Right along the edge. And after it's dry, I will check from the other side to make sure it's lined up this way. I know that it's lined up that way. So then we're going to do this one here. And line it up on here. And the same afterwards, I'll trim any excess. So I've lined it up on the fold. So we've got it like that. And when we're finished the card, no one's going to know that that was a bit of a piecemeal kind of thing. Now, let's look at the brickwork here. I want to, tonight we are going to put this piece of basic white through the brick and mortar embossing folder, the 3D embossing folder, and end up with the brickwork like this. So we'll just substitute that out. But I want to show you how I did this so that there's more than one way of getting that brickwork. On this particular one, and when Amy showed how to do it, she did it a different way altogether. I took this die out of the, just I've hooked on something, there we go, the Brilliant Wings die set. So I took this, so it looks like bricks, right? And I cut out the bricks from some vellum paper. Then I used it as a mask. Let me just bring this in here. And I used my blending brushes and some gray granite ink and just made some bricks that way. So you can do it however it works for you and go using whatever you happen to have in your supplies. If you take a look, you'll be surprised at what you have that will work. So that's how I did this one. And then this one, I've done the bricks here. And what I'm going to do is bring in the blending brushes again and the gray granite ink. And I'll just show you my process here a little bit. I embossed just a scrap piece of basic white, and I thought, which is going to get the effect that I want? Would it be my blending brushes, or would I be better off using my sponge dauber? So I found that with the sponge dauber, it was quite a bit darker and it would be more controlled, I guess is the word. And with my blending brush, I could get just a little bit here and there. So it really depends what look you're looking for. So you know me, I love my blending brushes. So I'm going to use my blending brush and just tap it off. And I'm not going to go all over. I just want some of the bricks highlighted just to give it a little bit of that look. So, whoops, there we go. And put a bit more down here maybe, like that. And it just gives it a little more rustic look. I could do some more on the edges, that kind of thing. I already did the liner, so I've got it looking like that too. So I wonder if I need to do just a smidge more in a couple of places. There we go. So there's, you can make it as much or as little as you want. So that was with the gray granite ink. Now that we've got that done, I'm just going to flip this over because it's got ink on the other side and add my adhesive and stick it to the gray granite piece. Whoops, where did I put it? There it is. Here we go. So again, it's flush with the top and the bottom and a very narrow border on each side. So let's see there. I think we've got it looking pretty good. So we'll let that set up and we'll bring the card front back in. So now we've got it. We're just going to stick this down and we've got the basic card front and we'll get to start playing with the bundle. So I have a question for you. What bundle are you wishing that I would play with? Is there a bundle in the mini catalog that you would like to see some ideas for. Look at that. Doesn't that look good already? So while you're sharing that, I'm going to show you now that we are this far and this is where we're heading, but I took some of the wreaths from that bundle, and so now I could make it look like this, and I could add a little twine bow if I wanted, like that. I could even make two of them and make it a fuller wreath, like that. Or whimsical trees, Judy. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorites. Or I could bring in the Halloween look. So they're using the bundle for, again, another look. Anybody else got a bundle they would like me to play with? And we've got Christmas coming in, like that. So I could still use this background and still even use all of this. So that's how simple it is to switch out the theme of a card. So there's just a few ideas like that. So let's continue on. And how are we going to make this? Let me just clear a little path here. I used the die and cut out a gray granite wreath. Now, often I would use an adhesive sheet on the back of something fine like this. Hi, Judy. So glad you're here. But I decided I wanted some of the leaves to be able to kind of lift off. So I'm not using an adhesive sheet this time. I'm just going to put a little dab of the multi-purpose glue where it's a little bit thicker. And I'm not putting it where the leaves are. That would be easy to do. But I'm just putting it where there's, I don't know if you can see, where it's a bit thicker on the die cut itself. And the reason I'm doing that is that will hold it down. And then when I start adding all this stuff, it's going to work just fine. So now we'll put it right down like that and give it a moment to set up. Put something, a weight on it. And then I took, there's just tons of little dies in this die set. There are all these different leaves here. So these are more fallish leaves. These are more holly, but they still work well together. And there's different ones there. And then I brought in some punches as well. So I ended up with all of these little die cuts all ready to go. And then I used the sprig punch, this one here. And remember I said I was going to mention some other celebration items. One of the items you can get for celebration is this amazing bedazzling paper. And it is absolutely phenomenal. It's right at the beginning of the celebration catalog, and it is one of the papers you are interested in. It is one of the 3 that is only while supplies last, and this has been a huge hit. So you might want, if you're making a wish list and you're kind of spacing it out, I would get that and the sheep's dies and the other dies before, if they're on your wish list, I'd get them first. But anyway, we're going to be using some of this. Now, when I went to punch this out, and I've die cut this too, but it is thicker paper, and it makes your punch and your dies work really, really hard. So if you're finding that your punch or your die doesn't want to cut through this paper, so far I've been successful. What you can do is just kind of wiggle and play with that corner, and you can even take a layer of the paper off and make it even thinner. So then it will die cut. So that's a way around it. But I think this is going to work tonight, and I am going to bring in the symmetrical stems border. So this is part of a bundle in the annual catalog. And I'm going to, I just want one set, but I'm going to show you how to use a border punch. Let's just see here. Let me line it up in here. Oh, I know what the problem is. I was peeling that paper and that's why. So what you want to do is push it so it goes right down to the ledge. And let's see, yeah, there. And there we go. We've got 2 of them right there. Now, if I was wanting more, what I would do is slide this down, and then when it lines up with the design, see how the design here? I'm lining it up with the design. Now it's not lined up. Now whoops, I went too far. Now it is, and I could punch again. And then gets another one there. So you can make a whole border of that. So that's that punch there. So now we've got all these pieces. So let's bring this back in and just figure it out. So I think I'm going to take these 2, and my plan here is to put them there. So I'm going to bring in my glue dots. I think they're going to be about as good as anything here. So 1 glue dot here, and I'm going to fill it in. So I'm going to put that there and there. So now we're starting to build our wreath, and then we've got this shape here, so we'll bring that in. And if you notice what's here, it's just sort of in the background, and it adds that little bit of extra sparkle, I guess is the word. And oh, hello, Carolyn. Welcome. So nice to see you too. Well, I was just sharing that this creation is actually one that I'm casing somebody else. Amy, now here, Roz, let's see how well I learned. Kenders. And with just a few changes, but I really liked what she did with this. So there we go. Now I can start to bring in some of the leaves. And oops, I tried to take them off my own card. That's not very good. So we will, do you know what? Because that's so shiny, I am actually going to put a glue dot on here. If you're working with glimmer paper, and foil paper, you might find it wise to use something different to stick things down. I often use glue dots or something like that. They're gorgeous papers, but they often need just a little bit extra. And then once you get some layers down, then we can switch over to the liquid glue. So Diana, I think I saw that you were wanting me to use Peaceful Cabin. That is a gorgeous set, and I haven't got it yet, but I think it's on its way. I can hardly wait. I have received some gorgeous samples in swaps, so I can hardly wait to play with that. So yes, that's another bundle. Just while I'm busy gluing leaves on, let me just, you know me, I can't talk and do something at the same time. We are busy doing apples off our apple trees, and tonight we had beets out of our garden and carrots out of our garden. What are some of your favorite garden vegetables? What are some of your favorites to eat fresh out of the garden? I'd be curious to know. While I'm busy doing this, we had talked about going away next week. It's just not going to work. It's too many things happening. Plus, the roads just aren't safe. We were going to go visit my mom, and so many of the roads are closed, and I don't think it's going to work. So we will go later, I think. So now cucumbers, spaghetti squash, yum. What Amy did was she put a burlap, or oh, what am I trying to say? Baby potatoes, Judy. Oh, I shouldn't be reading these comments because I'm being distracted and getting hungry all over again. Linen thread is what she used, and then she used the pumpkin from the dies. But with all this sparkle here, I wanted to try to bring in this gorgeous ribbon. It is called shimmer ribbon, and it's gold shimmer ribbon. And what I did was I cut enough to make a bow. So I just kind of say, okay, I need about that much to make a bow. So I cut that much off. Then what I did is I cut down the middle. So instead of having a wide piece, I had two narrower pieces. And because I tend to muck up tying bows on camera, I tied the bow. Now, because I cut this ribbon down the middle, it is fraying. And the more I handle it, the more it frays. And I really quite like that. I am finding I'm doing that more and more with ribbon all the time, is cutting it and getting that little bit of a, I don't know, a frothy look. I know that's not the right word, but that's what came to mind. So I am going to put that right here. This, you love that ribbon. Yes, Linda, I do too. What I like about it also is it's soft. It's easy to work with. So it is in the mini catalog. So that is where I got it from. So let's bring in my glue dots and get that ribbon fastened. And there we go. We'll stick it right down there. So now we've shown two different ways to get the brickwork. We've got just slightly different here. Now my ribbon is covering up my leaves. So I might tuck a few, bring a few more in and just put them, raise them up a little bit. I could pull those ones off, but I've got extras cut. So I'll just go like that. And I think we could add a bit more here. This ribbon was smaller so that it gave us didn't hide the leaves so much, but we can always fix that, right? So that's the joy of your work. When you look at it, you think, okay, is it good? Does something need to be taken away? Does something need to be added? Do I need an extra? There, take your pick tool. We'll do that. There we go. So there, I think we've got enough color there. We can fluff this out a little bit more. Afterwards, if I decide, I can always add a bit more. So now we need to work on the words. So let's move that out of the way before I send it flying. And what I usually do is stamp my words first and then bring in the die and cut it out. It's usually easier to get things straight. But what we'll do on camera here is keep our fingers crossed. And I'm going to stamp on here and hopefully it'll work. If not, we'll cut this out. Now, if you don't have this die, this is from the Tasteful Labels. If you don't have that die, remember you can just cut the top and the bottom so you've got a narrow strip, and then you can flag the ends. I call them fishtails. So let's, where did I put? Here it is. So we're going to bring in the Versamark ink, and you need to do something so that you remove the static from your paper. I am going to use, still have an embossing buddy, but if you don't have that, you can do anything from rubbing it with a Kleenex or a tissue to a dryer sheet or baking soda or anything that takes that static off. So let's see, let's push that down. And there we go. And bring in the gold embossing powder. I like to keep my embossing powder in a container like this. I have less spillage that way, but you certainly don't have to. And then flick it off, and then when you heat it up, it'll be all set to go. So normally I would hold that in, ooh, I better put this away before I melt it all. Normally I would have a clothespin or tweezers or something, but I forgot. So I'll try to be very careful and not burn my fingers. And there it goes, the magic is happening. I always love this. So there's the word grateful, all nicely embossed and shiny, and it just kind of goes with all the other shiny we have happening here. Now, I have this thing, I like to give it a bit of a curve. And then I'll do this one a little bit too. And I don't press too hard. It's better to do it several times than pressing hard. If you press hard, you're likely to get a crease, and I don't want a crease, I want curves. So if I'm going to be wanting this part to stay up and these parts to stay down, and in order for that to happen and stay that way in the mail, I am going to put a dimensional under the part that I want to stay raised. In fact, I'm going to put 2. So there we go. That way it won't get crushed in the mail. And now I'm going to bring in my, where if I can find them, there they are, my glue dots. And, oh, I missed one down here. Put one at each end. Like that. And we're ready to add this to the wreath. And you can just kind of put it wherever you want. I think I'll put it right there. Like that. And then I'm just going to bring in some metallic pearls to add just a little bit of something there. You could bring in whatever you wanted. Metallic pearls come in both gold and silver, and I love them. And you can also see that I also color them. They're just so tiny and dainty. I love how they just add that little tiny touch of something extra to a project. And now the decision. Do I need one more? I might put one right there. There we go. So that is tonight's project. So just a few alterations. But now the goal when we started out was one stamp set. Oh, I love the hearts. Thank you. One stamp set, but cards for different occasions. So I've got some other cards to show you. So, oh, I was going to show you this before. This is how I did the inside. I just embossed a little bit. Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you folks are liking it. And I went, and this will just go in there. And so there carries that brick theme over. I could bring this in, or I could use some stamps from the set. So that's what I'm going to do there. Now, this one I have shown you before. This is the case from the catalog. So here it is like this. And this paper here is from the Harvest Meadow designer paper. I think, yes, there it is right there. So that's what I used there. So this could be Christmas. This one here I received from one of my downline, and she's used these here. She used the that outline. Remember I said the leaves that you could stamp, or you might not. She used that, and she's made this like more a birthday card or a thinking of you, or you are so special. And did you notice what she's done here on the and I'm going to show you, it's the Beauty of the Earth designer paper. She has used that new music Oh, embossing folder. I'm so busy looking at your comments coming in and I'm forgetting my words. So, isn't that just gorgeous? I love that too. So there is one stamp set and just beginning to tap into all the cards that you could possibly make. Now, oh, Carolyn, you're looking forward to Staycation? Oh, I'm so glad. We're looking forward to it too. I do have a few more show and tell. So Sue, here we go. Oh, before I do that, I was just going to show you. This here paper is from the Beauty of the Earth, and it was this paper here. So you can find paper for all occasions in all of your different designer papers. So let me just show you a few more. Judy, you were wanting the whimsical trees. Well, I just received this in a swap. This is the designer paper. Look at the sparkle there. The snowflakes cut in half and then just stamped on vellum and overlaid there. So there is, I received that as a swap card. I love it. Here's another one. I don't know if you noticed in the mini catalog. I'm trying to remember the name. I know Marilyn would know because she was playing with it. But it's, oh, I can't remember, but it's a bank of trees. And they've just done a little bit on the gold shimmer vellum. Did you realize there's gold shimmer vellum in here? There is. And this person has just taken one panel of it and mounted black around it and then done the bark embossing folder and again the new embellishments. And so it is just a beautiful card. Then my downline, this is from Diana. Diana's watching tonight. Now, Welcoming Woods was this one. Oh, thank you, Marilyn. I knew you would rescue me. So this is the Welcoming Woods stamp set. There we go. So Diana swapped this card, and it looks just adorable. I love that penguin. And again, it's a stamp set that can go for all kinds of occasions. But look what she's done with it. So it is a fold like that. So it would open like that. And hang on, because that's not it. It opens, so there's the inside. So it's like a card front. We made one of these cards, oh, quite a while ago. So there's a card front, and then she's put this kind of step thing on the front of it. So cute. So Diana loves her folds, and she does such a beautiful job of them. Then another member of my downline, Marg, did this one, and I have to admit, she gave it to me in a folder, and I looked at it, and I went, oh, it's so pretty. And then somebody else opened the envelope, the clear envelope, and look at this. Look at how that works. Isn't that fun? So guess what? I'm going to be trying this one again too. So there we go. So there's that one there. And then from another member of my downline, from Lynn, this is using the deer, Dashing Deer, I think it's called. And the You're Amazing from that sheep stamp set. She used it here, and I have been using it on everything. I love the words from that sheep stamp set. I love the sheep too, but I love the words. And then the paper is from the Beauty of the Earth. So this paper here that I was showing you earlier. And then I went to open it and I went, how? And then, oh, ho, 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 ho. So my downline was on folds this last week. That was not the challenge, but they were all doing some fun folds, and I really liked them. So those are some of my show and tell. And remember, thank you so much for joining me tonight. And if you could share, that would be great. Leave a little message in the comments that you have shared, and that would be super. If you're watching on YouTube, I really do appreciate it if you hit subscribe or you give me the thumbs up button. That also is wonderful. Now, this week also, when my next newsletter that comes out this week, it is going to have a free tutorial in it. So I hope you have signed up for my newsletter. If not, I will give the link after I'm finished this video. So do make sure you've signed up for my newsletter. Have some fun with this. do let me know what bundles you want me to play with. And if I have them, I just might be able to make it happen. So thanks for joining me. Take care and bye-bye.